As an independent music podcast, 101 Parttime Jobs highly recommends DistroKid as the best solution to putting out your own music online. You can join 1 million other artists from all across the world putting out their own music on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and everywhere else across the DSPs where people are listening to your music. My dream as a kid was to run a small little label, and now with DistroKid, getting music out online is the easiest it ever has been, making 100% of your own royalties while paying a small annual fee. And that fee's even smaller as a 101 Parttime Jobs listener. Head to distrokid.com/VIP/101pod to get 30% off your first year putting out your own music on DistroKid. Getting your own music out into the world has never been easier. Head to distrokid.com/VIP/101pod to get the best deal you can.
You bank, shop, and listen to music all online. Why not learn online too? Take DMAC online classes to complement your academic studies or earn your DMAC associate's degree in business, liberal arts, or criminal justice entirely online. DMAC offers the most affordable tuition and fees in Iowa. Apply and register for classes online at dmac.edu. Your schedule, your DMAC.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
I'm 100, I want part-time jobs. I'm 100, I want part-time jobs. I've been working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 101, 101. Hello and welcome to 101 Parttime Jobs. I'm Giles Bidder and I speak to bands and musicians about how they do it. For today's episode, we hear from Fran Healy, the legendary songwriter of Travis. And the conversation really for someone who's been doing it as long as Fran has is how do you sustain and maintain an excitement and interest in songwriting? Fran's got a really good energy. I think you'll pick up on his energy on this episode. He's just a really buoyant, fun, bubbly chat. Thank you to Fran for doing this. Thank you for Charlie for setting it up. Travis have been on tour with the Killers all around the UK, reminding so many people what an excellent band they are. And their new record is sounding pucker. LA Times is out next Friday. We talk a little about the record here and living in LA and how different that is to Scotland. Thank you for being here. If you like this episode, make sure you subscribe. We put out 2 episodes every week with good, interesting, exciting bands and artists. We'd love to have you here. So make sure you follow us on Spotify or subscribe on Apple. Thank you to our wonderful sponsors, 2000 Trees, the brilliant independent festival down in the Southwest, the 10th to the 13th of July. That is next week. In a really enjoyable, independent environment, you can see bands like the Gaslight Anthem, the Chats, Manchester Orchestra, Creeper, Hot Mulligan, Press Club, the Mysterines, Angel Dust. It's not too late to get your ticket. Head to 2000trees.co.uk and if you use the voucher code 101pod, you can get 50 quid off your weekend ticket. All right, coming up after the jump is Fran Healy of Travis. 101 Parttime Jobs.
Talks to me. Our manager talks to us like we're like in primary 4.
How do you mean?
Now, the next one you're doing is, and remember, it's a different link, but there's 3 of them. I'm like, yeah, all right. I understand.
Have you been treated a lot like that before in these kinds of press scenarios? And as the singer of the band, have you been treated like that?
The sad truth is, we are like, it is like children, and it's like they treat us like that way because you never really are allowed, or not allowed. You leave school, you sign on, and we were like on the dole for like, I think I was on the dole for about 3 or 4 years, and then we get a deal, and then everyone like, I was thinking about it yesterday, like, I mean, I book all my own flights for other things, and I'm a grown up now, but when you go into band mode, you have to like, and then, you know, so they do sort of treat you a little bit like that, but you are in this sort of weird formaldehyde bubble that keeps you like not stupid, but like stupid in a good way.
Well, is that other side of it is that you've got a lot to do with performing. If you've got a show in the evening, do you not need 3 hours before it to get in the right mind frame?
We don't have a lot to do. I mean, we've got a lot to do because we've got interviews and we've got like stuff like that. But the show is the least of our kind of like concerns, like especially on the ramp up to releasing a record. For me, I mean, I make all the music videos, I do all the artwork, I do everything for the band. I write all the songs, and then like getting up and going on stage is like, and this is the best gig. Like we have like the best job in the world to be a support band at our stage. It's great. You go on like for 40 minutes and then let them go on and do the hard part. I would not like to be, I would like to be a headline band like at where are we playing tonight? The Co-op in Manchester, the biggest arena in Europe now. 23,750 people. Wow. 4 nights sold out. The Killers are blazing at the moment, and the shows are amazing. So, but there's a certain, I mean, it's just lovely to have 40 minutes and go, right, done. See you later.
Yeah,
it's good.
You're the friend of the friend. When you go into a party, your friend's been the one invited, and you're the one that's tagging along. So you just get to go into the kitchen and nick a couple of beers.
Yeah, and a few like, you know, cold cuts,
Baby Bells.
Yeah.
When was the last time you went to a party and stole some nubs of cheese from the fridge? I do it all the time. This is a safe space.
I've got a classic. I've got the end all one. I think it was at Glastonbury when McCartney played, and he had like almost like his own compound backstage. And it was the year me and Dougie, we were like on a Saturday, and we'd headlined Glastonbury, and I think it was 2000, and McCartney this was maybe 2002 or 3. And one on the Saturday, was it Saturday? No, it was a Saturday. I phoned Dougie up and I was like, should we just try and get into Glastonbury, just see if we can blast in and just see if we can go in without a ticket? Because they'll know us, right? We just headlined the bloody thing. And he's like, yeah. So we got in the car and we bought a box of champagne, like, you know, like some...
Peace offering.
Yeah, like to bribe our way in. And so we got there, and there's all these checkpoints. We get through the first one. We're like, cheers, mate, bottle of champagne. We get through this, and we literally we parked the car behind the pyramid stage. It was amazing. So McCartney's doing his thing, and we got so drunk. And at the end of the night, I came out with I had 2 bottles of wine down my trousers, and I had pink jelly that is like goes with wine. It's like posh food. I was like, what is this? So the next day we got up, and I'd left the light on in the car, and we got stuck behind the pyramid stage on the Sunday at the thing.
Drained the battery. Yeah,
they had to bring a big giant tractor and give us a jump start. It was a whole scene, and so we wanted to go in stealth, but it was like Laurel and Hardy.
That's really funny. After all these years, do you still have that sense of mischievousness?
Oh yeah, we had a chat with a mate of mine, and he's really smart, and I was like, when was it? When did we have a chat with him? It was maybe about a year ago, year and a half ago, and he's like, he's a strategist. That's what he does. He started out in the ad industry, and he now he's like a gun for hire. He's really, really, but he's kind of one of these guys you're like, so that football teams bring in to go, what is it? What's missing? Mm-hmm. And we'd been kind of like felt a little bit like adrift. I don't know. We just did. And he's like, look, you need to boil everything that you are down into like about 2 or 3 things, and everything that you project has to have that in it. And so Mischievous was one of the things.
That's funny, because you think of the band like, you think of the hits, and you think of the sing-alongs, and I think of the earnestness. But I also think within the earnestness, and I feel like a lot of British people have this, is that with the earnestness, there's also some cold, like warm cans that you're drinking in the park with your friends, some heartbreak, some dodgy first jobs, like the first flat that you get into. I think there's a lot in the band for me about that, and yeah, mischievousness is a key element of there. I wouldn't have thought about it that way.
Well, yeah, and I think that for us, definitely. Well, the weird thing is that like, what did we do the other day? Oh my God! Right. For instance, we had to go to, so Scotland, Germany. We know what happened, but the day before that, they'd asked us to go so we were on tour with the Killers in Dublin. Did our first show, and then they had the day off, and we were asked to go and play a charity thing. It was like a big pre-football thing, and some rich guy flew us there on his private jet, and we were like, we didn't get, it was charity, so and he was just like, but you'll get flown on a private jet. We're like, we're in. So we turn up, we get on the plane. This is an example of I'm like the bit of the sort of center of that mischievousness thing. So I'm sitting behind Neil, who knows everything about planes. He's like, Neil will be like standing on the street, and he'll look up, and there'll be a plane going like, flying over, and he's like, that's a D7592 with a twin turbo engine and it seats 340, right? That's Neil. He knows fucking everything about planes. So I was sitting behind him, and I had my bag, my rucksack, and I had one of these like Bluetooth things, speakers, and my phone. And we're sitting on the runway, and I'm just like, and I went, wait a minute, because it's loud, and it's a small, very small plane, and we're all very excited. I leaned over to Doug, and I was like, watch this, and I dialed up, the warning. When a plane's going to crash, the last thing that goes is pull up, pull up, pull up, and I clicked on thing, connected it to Bluetooth. Plane flies down the runway, takes up, and I sort of panicked, and whatever one I pressed, it said at the beginning, so it's really loud, and I put it sort of where the speaker is, and it said altitude, and Neil's like, come on, in front of me, like he's getting right into it. And then pull up, and like, I didn't see his face, but apparently he's like, surely shat it. Anyway.
That's naughty.
It's very cruel. And the pilot shat it as well. So I wasn't that smart to do it on a plane. But, it's just like, I think it's part of being British that we don't take ourselves too seriously. And it's something that I miss living in LA, because everyone's very serious over there. I mean, it's like, come on, guys, lighten up. Did
you feel that element of people trying to make it, people trying to one up? Was there? I mean, these are sweeping statements. I don't know. Everyone has.
No. It's nothing to do with that. It's like LA is like LA has all the ingredients of like if it was like a meal, it has all the ingredients for the most amazing multicultural feast. But it's like, you've got it's sort of segregated. Like there's white people over there, black people over there, Hispanics over here, really, really rich white people over here, and then the homeless people are over there. And then there's no centralized thing like New York or London or Glasgow or Manchester today, where everybody's out on the street, everybody's on the buses, everybody's on the trains, and you're just bumping off each other. And in LA, they don't have that. They're in their little sectors, and no one gets to any good experience with anyone else other than those. So then you get in your little pod with your podcast, and then you go to the next sector, and it's a bit like Escape from LA. It's a bit like the movie, except it's real. And I would say I came up with it the other day. The cure for it is to get maybe, I don't know how much it would cost, probably about $200 billion. Get that and make a really good public transport system for everyone. Get us all out of the cars, get us all into the thing, and have us all bumping up against each other again.
The buses thing in the States is it's a class thing, isn't it? If you're getting the bus, you're it's LA is just a really mental place at the moment. When we went there in 2000 to record The Invisible Band, it was completely different. And then 20 years before that, I saw something on the telly the other day, and someone was saying that in the 1980s, LA was like, when you came to LA, it took 20 minutes to get anywhere. It was always really quick. Now it takes an hour and 15 minutes. Or it takes an hour on average to get from downtown Los Angeles to Santa Monica, or it takes about 45 minutes when it's busy to get from DTLA, downtown LA, to Hollywood. And it's really congested, and everyone you pull up beside someone and there's your car, and they'll pull up beside you there. They won't pull up beside you there, so you can look over and go, hello. It's all weird. It's weird. And it's funny, it's like it's good as well. LA is amazing. It's like, it's a beautiful, beautiful place. The nature is incredible, and there are aspects of it that are brilliant, art, all that shit. But that's it feels like it's not, I feel like I miss home, it's like over here, I feel like, you go to the art galleries and everything, and everybody's there, I feel like a little bit in Glasgow, like the Kelvin Grove Art Gallery. You go in, it's everybody, Mm-hmm. It feels like everybody's in, and because it's free. And anyway. It's funny the things you notice when you go to different cultures. And calling the record LA Times, will you look back on this as a snapshot of your time in LA? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, the last 5 years, I think this record, there's parallels between this record and The Man Who, because I think The Man Who, it was emotionally speaking, I'd gone through a lot before that record came out. This one as well, it's like this one and the last one, 10 songs, it's like very emotional weather and a lot of stuff going on in my life, and just loads of, like, even in the outdoor life, like I've been attempted carjacking, found a homeless guy in my house, got into a karate fight, almost, like with what I think he was an extreme fighter because he took his shoes off. I almost lost my finger. See my scar? I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, that's a big scar, and that's a really nasty place.
Yeah, and I almost, so that was my finger. Almost lost I couldn't play guitar.
What happened?
I saved a neighbour's dog from getting hit by a car, and it was a sausage dog, and they're apparently the most vicious dogs in the universe. And they know that because they've been to the edge of the universe, and that is the only. So they love sausages apparently, and I picked him up, and I was going behind him. I'm going, come on, here we go. And I picked him up, and this dog just went, and I couldn't let him go. And I was like, fucking hell. And I sort of fell over, rescued him. He ran down the street, and I was blood pouring down my hand, and the neighbours are all out. Like, neighbours in our little hood up in the Hollywood Hills, you never see anyone. Everyone was like, oh my God, shall we call them an ambulance? And I'm like, I don't know how. Yeah,
if you want to pay £10,000.
But they did. They called an ambulance, and like a massive fire truck turned up, because they're the emergency service. If they can't get an ambulance, they send the fire truck. Mm-hmm. And these, like, the most handsome guys I've ever seen, ripped. I mean, you can see, and that's when the penny dropped about firemen. I was like, whoa, it's like the Chippendales turned up, and they were all like, what's wrong? And I'm like,
fireman is in like pharmacy, as in pharmaceuticals, like ripped pills to make you ripped.
No, I mean ripped, like they were like the chip, like they were like strippers. Okay. But they were like, muscles and handsome. They looked like Abercrombie. All of them looked like Abercrombie and Fitch models, chiseled and really cool dudes. Like, not like assholes or anything. They were really like, are you okay? And I'm like, I don't know. And the guy's like, show me your hand. And I'm like, there you go. And he's like 6'3". He's like, yourself. And anyway, so I've had a lot.
You're living a wild life, Fran.
It's the wild, wild west, man.
I feel like, I don't know if it's the generation above us where it's such a British thing to be like, get the job, work hard, get the house, get the family, and then basically become boring. And I feel like a lot of our generations now are like, okay, let's try and not do that. How do we make sure that we go on holiday a few times? And I'm talking about the everyday person. How do we make sure that we can go on holiday a few times a year? Maybe we could work remotely. Maybe we could live in a different country. I feel like this is a new thing. And I feel like it comes from fear of being boring.
Here's the thing. So I did 1 year. I need to do it. I need to do it again. But in 2014, my New Year's resolution was to do something interesting, one interesting thing a month, or was it a week? Or just try and do something.
Even a month is quite high frequency.
Yeah, it's just something really cool, and I made it a point to do that. And at the end of the year, we lived in Berlin at the time, and I'm a big fan of the film by Wim Wenders, Wings of Desire.
Okay,
it's a masterpiece. It's a beautiful film, and it's it's set in Berlin, and there's this huge sort of column with a big angel that's on this very famous mile that leads up to the Brandenburg Gate. It's halfway along the mile. It's this beautiful, it's like 200 feet high with this golden angel at the top of it. And the film opens on that angel's wing, and the film's about invisible angels that follow us around. When we're sitting on the train going, oh, why did she leave me? Oh, I feel terrible. An angel will come up and put his hand on your shoulder, and he'll be like, he won't say anything. And you see the people's thoughts go, you know what? I think I can actually deal with this. It's like that kind of thing. But it starts on this angel, and that was one of the places I went 1 month. I was like, what can I do? And so it was literally, maybe a couple of miles away from where I lived and on my doorstep. So went there, went to LA on holiday at the time with my son. And then we ended up I'm a blagger.
Good skill, good trait.
But we blagged our way onto the court at a Lakers game.
Yes,
it was amazing. So at the end of the year, I made a slideshow of all of the things. I collected all of the moments on a slideshow, and we played it through at the end of the year on Hogmanay. And I was like, and going back to the beginning is, it's not a fear of, what did you say? A fear of getting boring?
Fear of getting boring, yeah.
It was more that it slows time down. Because if you just keep doing the same routines all the time, the weeks go quickly. If you throw a spanner in the routine, it just jolts you a little bit, and it slows down the passage of time in your mind, and it really helps make you feel like you've done something with your time.
I can imagine it helps with songwriting. Songwriting's about experiences.
Yeah, and maybe it does. I think getting emotionally walloped is also good for songwriting. I think that's the most. And also having a tumultuous childhood is also quite a bit not important, but integral. Anyone I know who's good at art or good at it's maybe like you look at any great songwriter, they've always had something big explosion in their timeline. Like if you take John Lennon, say Paul McCartney, both lost their mothers within a year of each other, tragically, and that's like I was saying to someone the other day. It's like your mum or your dad is the edge of the swimming pool. Mm-hmm. Your mum mostly, because your dad's, it's that thing, dad, he's always over there kind of thing, and he comes in every now and then. But your mum's like the edge of the swimming pool, and suddenly she's gone, and you've got and you have to. And I think I talk about songwriting and getting into that whole thing is like mining, like digging. Mm-hmm. It's very manual. You dig, and you really have to go deep into your something, whatever it is, and stuff comes up. You find little bits of gold or little something, diamonds or whatever you want to call it, and then you bring them up to the surface, and you make your song or your book or your painting or whatever it is. And every single person I know who's done really good ones, they've always had the help of a huge nuclear explosion that blew this huge, deep hole in their lives. I won't say I've had as bad as John Lennon and Paul McCartney, thankfully. It's also. I mean, I'm not going to get into the Gabor Mate territory about trauma and all that stuff, but things that happen to you along the way definitely have a lot of effect on, especially emotional life. And like you say, it's relative. It's relative to your what you've gone through. So it's like, no one's heartbreak is bigger than another's. It's because it's yours.
101, 101, part-time jobs. 101, 101, 101, part-time jobs. 2 years from now, 5 years from now, we're probably going to be a little bit more intellectually intelligent, emotionally intelligent. And so we look back at something we've said a few years earlier, and you're like, oh, I was not very articulate then. I didn't get my points across very well. But that's the only thing you can do, is try and just do your best to articulate and speak how you want to at the moment.
And here's the thing, you should always say at the time. Don't wait. My thing is, like, if you have an issue, I'll always say to someone, look, hey, I'll take them aside and say, look, you don't say you made me feel like that. There's lots of great language tricks to not feel like someone's attacking you when you're telling them. You're like, I feel pretty bad when you behaved like this. I think I feel this way because blah blah blah. I think there's a set way of doing it, mm-hmm. and by saying it at the time, you're taking care of yourself. And also, I've done the opposite thing, which is I've carried it in my special rucksack that I inherited from whatever, and that's my bag. It's not theirs. If I choose to put it in my bag, and but this is a good interview.
Oh, well, we're chatting. This is a good chat.
We're going deep.
I often get worried if I've said something and I thought, say if someone's just broken up with their girlfriend, or their girlfriend broke up with them. And I would talk, oh, me and my girlfriend, we went to the cinema this morning. It was amazing. And of course they feel hurt. I often, there's a million examples of that. And I sometimes think, but again, recently I've thought it doesn't come from a bad place. If it doesn't come from a bad place, you can always apologize and be like, oh, I'm sorry. Or because otherwise I inherit that little backpack of shame or that backpack of hurt. And that person might even forget about it. And then 5 months later, I'm still being like, oh, I was an asshole. I pissed off James or Tom,
It's this thing about the rucksack. I was thinking like what is that? So if you're going along in your life and you sort of go, you're upset about something or you're shamed about something or something like that. I was thinking it could be like a hook, a coat hook on a wall. Some people's coat hooks are like those wee tiny ones you get, like you can hardly hang anything on it. And they've had a great time. And my one's pretty big, and you could hang a wet donkey jacket off it, possibly with a guy in it.
I'm exactly the same. I can feel bad about anything.
And it's what we choose to hang. We look at the thing hanging on it and we're like, that's the problem. And you got to go, whoa, stop. Take the man in the donkey jacket off of the hook. The hook is the crook, the hook is the hook. That's the thing. And that's what you need to, if you want to work on and find out maybe ways to, I think knowing about that sort of stuff, identifying possibly why you feel bad about something. Like if someone makes you feel unhappy, I have a nice little thing that I do of imagining everyone walking around with an invisible carton of chocolate mousse on their head, right? And when they go, you fucking, or whatever, if someone's in a car and they flip you off and they you've not done anything, you've just accidentally maybe cut them up, but you didn't mean to, like you say. Yeah. And then they go, fuck you, or whatever, and you feel that surge running through your body, like, and then you feel bad for the next 3 hours, and you're like, oh, that was horrible. Because then maybe you go there and you're like, no, fuck you back, or whatever. But what you've done is you've just put your finger in their chocolate mousse, and you've tasted their chocolate mousse. And I try and stop myself and just go, whoa, I'm feeling that, because I felt fine right up till then. Mm-hmm. And now I feel bad. And then you try and go, well, what am I feeling right now? Oh, because that's how they feel right now. Yeah. They've maybe had a shit morning. Maybe their dad died last month or something. Maybe their dogs died or something. Or maybe they're late for work and they're just stressed. Or that. It's like everything's an act. It's like the whole everything. You're like we're monkeys. We should be up a tree eating a kumquat or whatever, like looking at the world and just watching the elephants walk by.
We should definitely keep on talking about this another time. You've got somewhere to be at 12, so could I ask you one last question to finish off the chat? 101 Part-Time Jobs is the name of this show.
Right.
I think everything we've been talking about, I think, the naysayers will be like, you haven't talked about jobs. I think this is all a job. Thinking is a job. I think we kind of frame jobs as something that we don't want to do, that we have to do. But I think if you can kind of reframe it for yourself, that everything you do, all the positive habits that you form, all the kind of good things that you set yourself, like you giving yourself the job of doing one interesting thing a month, that improves your quality of life.
Yeah, and I did that like completely without reading any books or anything. I just thought, oh, that's a good idea. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. It could be read a book a month. I mean, it could be anything. But yeah, it's like getting up in the morning can be hard sometimes. The one thing is that the thing I try and remember, even when you go, oh my God, look at the world, oh dear Lord. Don't forget that everyone's trying the best they can. Mm-hmm. As everyone's trying. We're all in it together. We're all in the human race. It's not called a race for no reason. We're moving ahead, and sometimes it takes a while to get there, but we'll get there.
I got one last question, and I think a big part of the race is making mistakes, fucking up, and realizing, oh, that's how you're supposed to do it. When you look back at your working life, maybe times on the dole, maybe times in the band, and it doesn't have to be a deep mistake. It can be a spill your coffee or cake over someone else accidentally. What's a good dinner table style anecdote of fucking up for Fran Healy?
Oh, that's really hard. There's a lot. Because the thing is, like, you don't get nowhere without making millions of mistakes. This is the thing. Here's my wisdom on mistakes. This is what I tell my son, is that you only can really truly make a mistake if you do it 3 times. First time you go, that was, oops, that was an accident. Oh, I didn't mean to, because blah, blah, blah. Second time, you should have known better, but we'll give you a chance. Third time is a mistake. And that's, so there's all these there's a whole subcategory of things. And I've made loads but still we're still here. We're still fighting. We've not checked out just yet. Just keep trying and get up. All you need to do is just get up, make your bed, and get out into the world.
So there was Fran Healy of Travis. Thanks so much for listening to this. If you enjoyed that, make sure you click subscribe on the podcast. Leave a review if you got 30 seconds. All of that stuff helps. I can't believe how that conversation just flew through. To be honest, sometimes on this show, I'm like, do I ask questions or do I have a chat? And I'm leaning more and more towards the second one. I think you get to learn a lot about someone through an honest, normal, everyday conversation. Thank you for joining us for this. Thank you to the small team that helped put out these episodes. If it wasn't for our sponsors, we wouldn't be able to make that happen. So thank you to DistroKid. If you're an artist or you play in a band or you've got a cousin or a daughter and they're not sure how to put out their own music on Spotify and Apple and all the rest of it, well, tell them you can head to DistroKid. And if you head to distrokid.com/VIP/101pod, you can get 30% off your first annual fee and make 100% of your own royalties after that. DistroKid has been signed up to by 1 million artists across the world, putting out their own music, paying a small annual fee, and being able to put your music out in the world. What's better than that? To get 30% off that first year, head to distrokid.com/VIP/101pod.
101 Part-Time Jobs is hosted by Giles Bidder and produced by me, Olivia Swash. This has been a Mighty Moon Media production.